So tell me about yourself.
Oh, the absolute dread.
Right. It is, without a doubt, one of the most common requests in any language, yet it consistently triggers just this massive wave of anxiety.
It really does. It's like a universal human experience.
Exactly. It doesn't even matter if you're sitting in a high-stakes corporate interview or stepping to a new classroom or just mingling at a dinner party. The moment those words are spoken, a spotlight snaps right onto you.
And that is the exact moment the mind goes entirely blank.
Completely blank. Especially for professionals who are navigating this in a second or third language. It's like every achievement, every place you've lived, and sometimes even your own name just vanishes.
It vanishes. But I think it's so important for people to know that there is a biological reason for this. It is not a failing on your part.
I mean, that is a relief to hear. What is actually happening in our brains in that moment?
Well, when that spotlight hits, your brain often perceives that sudden social pressure as a literal physical threat.
Like a survival situation.
Exactly like that. It triggers a mild fight-or-flight response, so cortisol floods your system, and blood literally rushes away from your prefrontal cortex.
And that's the part of the brain that handles logic, right?
Yes, logic and language processing. So your mind going blank is not a failure of your English skills at all. It is simply human biology reacting to stress.
Wow. That takes a lot of the pressure off, just understanding the mechanics of why we freeze. It's not a vocabulary issue, it's a cortisol issue.
Precisely. And the question then becomes, well, how do we bypass that biological response? We have to completely reframe the narrative in our heads.
Reframe it how?
By stopping viewing the self-introduction as an interrogation or a pop quiz where there's a right and wrong answer. We can change how our brain reacts to it by thinking of it differently. Think of your introduction not as a test you have to pass, but as the movie trailer of your life.
Oh, I love that. The movie trailer.
Right, because a trailer doesn't attempt to show the entire 2-hour film. It would be exhausting.
Yeah, and it doesn't give away every single plot point or tiny detail.
Exactly. It shows the highlights. It establishes the tone, the setting, the vibe. Its only job is to draw the audience in and make them want to ask questions.
To buy the ticket, basically.
Yes. Your introduction is just a strategic communication tool. It's a really empowering opportunity to set the terms of the conversation, break the ice, and show the world exactly who you are on your own terms.
I mean, to get to that point of confidence, we definitely have to talk about preparation. But let me bring up a terrible mistake I've personally made.
Oh, please share.
Years ago, I wrote out a self-introduction, word for word. I mean, I memorized it like a Shakespearean monologue.
Oh no, I think I know where this is going.
Yeah, it was bad. I went to a networking event, someone asked what I did, and I started reciting it perfectly. But then I forgot the third sentence.
And the whole thing collapsed.
Completely stalled out. My brain just crashed. Because I was locked into this rigid script, the entire interaction fell apart, and I sounded like a broken robot.
I have done the exact same thing. We all have. And that is the danger of rigid memorization. When you memorize a paragraph, your brain is carrying this massive cognitive burden.
Because you're just hunting for the next exact word.
Right. You are constantly scanning ahead in your mind. The preparation we're talking about in this deep dive is fundamentally different. We are talking about building a foundational framework.
A framework, not a script.
Exactly. Instead of a script, you want a mental architecture based on simple bullet points. You just need to know your core themes, your greeting, your origin, and your current focus.
The source material we are reviewing for this deep dive uses a really compelling analogy for this. It compares a prepared introduction to a GPS navigation system.
Oh, the GPS analogy is brilliant.
It really is. Imagine you're driving in a massive, sprawling city you have never visited before, and it's midnight.
Terrifying.
Right. Without a map, your stress levels are incredibly high. Every single turn feels risky and dangerous, but the moment you turn on your GPS and see that clear blue line guiding your path, the anxiety just drops.
You still have to drive the car, of course.
Exactly. You still adapt to traffic, you watch the road, but you know your ultimate destination. You aren't lost.
And a structured introduction is your linguistic GPS. When you know your bullet points, your brain doesn't have to panic about where the sentence is going to end.
And because that mental burden is lifted, you can actually be present.
Yes. Your mind is free to stay in the present moment. You can actually look at the person across from you. You can smile. You can adjust your tone based on their reactions.
So preparation doesn't restrict your personality.
Not at all. It provides the safety net that allows your authentic self to actually emerge without fear.
Well, with that safety net in mind, let's look at the very first moments of the interaction. It all starts with the greeting, which is fundamentally an exercise in matching the room's energy.
Matching the room is crucial. It's like adjusting a thermostat.
Right. If you walk into a highly formal environment, say a visa interview or corporate boardroom, a crisp, articulate good morning or good afternoon establishes immediate professional respect.
But you have to read the context. Because if you walk into a casual meetup at a local coffee shop and loudly announce, "Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen,"
You've completely misread the room.
fundamentally misread it. It creates a barrier rather than breaking one. In a casual setting, a relaxed, "Hi, it's so great to meet you," or "Hey, how are things?" creates instant warmth.
You're signaling to the other person that you understand the social rules of that specific space.
Exactly. And that carries right over into how we state our own names.
It seems like the simplest thing in the world, doesn't it? Stating your name.
It does, but the phrasing you choose carries significant psychological weight. For example, simply saying, "I'm followed by your name," like, "I'm Sarah."
It's casual, effortless, and gets straight to the point.
Right. But notice how the rhythm changes when you say, "My name is Sarah."
Oh, it physically slows down the sentence.
It forces the listener to pause and pay attention. It carries a layer of professional gravity. And then, we have highly situational phrases too.
Like when you're speaking to a large group.
Exactly. If you're standing on a stage addressing a large crowd saying, "This is Sarah," acts as an anchor. It guides the entire room's attention directly to you.
Or on a phone call, saying, "Hi, this is Arian speaking," provides immediate clarity when the other person lacks visual context.
It's verbal attire.
Verbal attire, I love that.
Well, you wouldn't wear a tailored suit to a beach picnic, right?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't wear flip-flops to a corporate gala.
Definitely not. So choosing your greeting and your naming phrase is about dressing your words appropriately for the occasion.
And when you do that, you make the listener feel comfortable because they immediately understand how to interact with you.
Okay, so once we've established the name and the greeting, the conversation naturally moves toward mapping out your life.
People want context. They want to know where you fit in the world.
And often this involves age and geography.
Mm.
Let's address age first, because this is fascinating. In some cultures, asking about age is a totally standard opening question.
While in others, it's considered highly sensitive or even inappropriate to ask.
That cultural difference is a major hurdle for language learners. You might be asked a question that feels really intrusive based on your own cultural background.
But the power here lies entirely in your hands. You don't have to give a precise data point if you don't want to.
Right, you can be boldly direct and say, "I am 35." But you can also choose what the source material calls intentional vagueness.
Intentional vagueness is a magnificent communication strategy.
How does it work in practice?
Well, saying "I'm in my late 20s" or "I'm in my mid-30s" offers you flexibility. It paints a general picture for the listener while allowing you to maintain your personal boundaries.
You're giving them enough information to satisfy their curiosity, but without feeling exposed.
Exactly. And geography works in a very similar way. Where you are from is never just a dot on a map.
It's the beginning of your narrative.
Yes, you can state the simple fact, "I'm from New York," or "I'm from Brazil." That is perfectly acceptable.
But you can also adjust the vocabulary to create a much more compelling storyline.
Think about the difference between "I'm from Chicago" and "I was born and raised in Chicago."
Born and raised adds so much more depth.
It adds deep roots to your statement. It implies history and a real connection to the place. Or consider someone whose life involves a lot of international movement.
Like, "I'm originally from Paris, but I'm now based in Tokyo."
Yes, "based in" is such a strong phrase.
I have always found it to sound incredibly professional. It implies that your current location is a center of operations. It's a deliberate choice, rather than just a place you happen to be standing.
And it implies momentum. When you say, "I grew up in Boston, but I am now based in London," you are transforming a static fact into an arc of growth and adventure.
It's a journey.
And crucially, it subconsciously invites the listener to participate in that journey. It's almost impossible to hear that sentence and not want to ask, "Oh, what brought you to London?"
You're handing them a conversational key.
Making it effortless for them to engage with you?
Handing the listener a key is the perfect transition into the next major area, which is the professional identity.
This is notoriously tricky for so many people.
It really is. Many professionals struggle to share their qualifications and their career triumphs without feeling like they are bragging. How do we state our value clearly while still remaining approachable?
It comes down to tailoring the depth of the information. You have to gauge what the room actually needs to know about you.
So let's look at education.
Sure. If you're at a casual networking event, you might offer a humble, brief summary like, I'm a marketing graduate.
Keep it light.
Right. But if you're sitting across from a hiring manager who needs to verify your credentials, you provide the formal weight. I hold a Bachelor of Arts in Marketing.
And for those who are perhaps between jobs or, actively trying to pivot into a brand new industry, stating your education can actually feel really daunting.
It can feel like a vulnerability.
But there's a very strategic way to frame this, saying, I am currently taking a course in data analytics, or I am currently studying project management.
I love that phrasing.
I have used this approach myself when entering a new field. It completely shifts the focus.
It shifts the focus from past experience to present momentum. Sharing what you are currently studying is highly effective because people respect a growth mindset.
It communicates dedication.
Dedication and a relentless desire for self-improvement. It tells the listener that you are an active participant in your own development.
And work experience requires the exact same tailored approach. I like to think of this as operating a camera lens.
Oh, a camera lens. Explain that.
Imagine you're holding a camera. Depending on who you are talking to, you can twist the lens all the way out for a sweeping, wide-angle shot of your career.
So you keep it broad.
Exactly. I work in tech. Or I'm in the finance sector.
Or you can zoom the lens slightly in, focusing on the institution to build shared trust, like, I work at XYZ Corporation.
Right. And if the person you're speaking with is already in your specific industry, you zoom the lens all the way in for a macro shot of your daily duties.
I am a senior product designer focusing on user interfaces.
You rotate that lens entirely depending on the audience's level of context.
And even the way we quantify time alters the perception of our expertise.
Time is a big one.
If I say I have 10 years of experience in logistics, that sounds like a solid, unmovable block of authority.
Very formal.
But if I say I have worked in logistics for 3 years, it feels much more like an ongoing, active journey.
Both are grammatically correct, but they project entirely different energies.
They really do. And while those professional details build credibility and respect, we have to acknowledge that respect alone does not build relationships.
No, it doesn't. Once you've established your professional competence, you have to pivot the lens toward the human element.
Because professional facts build authority, but personal details build likability.
It's the shift from the resume to the living room. Sharing a glimpse of your life outside of work grounds you in reality.
Like briefly mentioning your family dynamics.
Right. Saying, we are a family of 5, or I'm one of 3 siblings, or I'm an only child. It immediately paints a relatable picture.
It reminds the person across from you that you have a life, responsibilities, and roots beyond the office.
And then we reach one of the most powerful tools for building genuine connection, which is sharing your passions and hobbies.
The vocabulary you choose here directly dictates the energy you project.
Give me an example.
If you say, I like playing tennis, that is a perfectly fine sentence. It's polite, but it is emotionally flat.
It doesn't carry any fire.
None. But if you upgrade that vocabulary, the impact transforms completely. Instead of, what if you say, I am a big fan of hiking, or I am a keen runner?
A keen runner is an excellent example.
When you use words like keen, passionate, or dedicated, you are communicating vitality.
You're showing the listener that you experience joy and drive in your personal life.
But there's a deeper psychological strategy here too, which ties back to what you said earlier about giving the listener a conversational key.
Right, because if you just say, I like sports, you are giving them a dead end. They have to do the heavy lifting to figure out what sport, why you like it, and how to keep the conversation moving.
Exactly. But if you say, I am a keen long-distance runner, you are handing them a specific, tangible hook.
You make it incredibly easy for them to be an active listener.
They can immediately ask, oh, what's your favorite distance? Or have you run any marathons recently? You have bypassed the awkward small talk completely.
And you've sparked a genuine, memorable conversation based on shared human interest.
It's magical when it works.
We have covered a massive amount of ground today, from the neuroscience of anxiety to the camera lens of professional experience and the vocabulary of personal passions.
It's a lot of tools for the tool dogs.
It is. But let's be brutally honest for a moment. You can listen to us dissect this linguistic framework all day.
You can understand the theory perfectly in your mind.
But theory alone does not build confidence. True, magnetic fluency requires physical, muscular practice.
It absolutely does. You have to step out of the comfort zone of simply listening.
The source material we reviewed is adamant about this. You must write your introduction down.
Put pen to paper and draft your core bullet points.
And then you have to face the mirror and the microphone. Stand in front of a mirror and speak the words aloud, record a voice memo on your phone, and force yourself to listen back to it.
That voice memo exercise is uncomfortable for everyone, but it is transformative.
You need to hear your own pacing. You need to hear where you rush because you're nervous and where you naturally pause.
And when you're standing in front of that mirror, I really challenge you to stop judging your grammar for just a moment.
Don't obsess over whether you use the perfect preposition.
Observe your physical presence. Posture plays a massive role in how we feel and how we are perceived.
It's called embodied cognition. When you roll your shoulders back and stand up straight, you actually lower your cortisol levels.
Watch your eyes in the mirror. Are they bright and engaged?
When you practice this framework, you aren't just memorizing English vocabulary. You are physically rehearsing the act of taking up space.
You are practicing stepping into the most confident, articulate version of yourself.
Rehearsing the person you are becoming.
That is a crucial perspective. And that actually leads me to a final reflection. I want to leave with everyone listening to this deep dive today, something for you to deeply mull over.
Let's hear it.
Your self-introduction is not a static document. It is not carved into unchangeable stone. It is a living, breathing reflection of exactly who you are in this specific chapter of your life.
It evolves.
It has to evolve. As you continue to master this language, as you take on new professional challenges, as you travel, and as you conquer the fears that used to hold you back, your movie trailer is going to change.
The vocabulary will become richer.
Because your experiences are becoming richer. So the provocative question I want you to ask yourself is this. Based on the trajectory you are on right now, who will you introduce yourself as exactly 1 year from today?
That is an incredible thought to hold on to. A clear vision of the future.
It gives you something to aim for.
It really does. Thank you all for spending your time with us today and for allowing us to be a part of your professional and linguistic development.
It's been a privilege.
If this deep dive provided you with new tools or a shift in perspective, please hit that subscribe button. Like this video, and most importantly, share this conversation with friends or colleagues who are also on their journey to mastering the English language.
We elevate each other when we share knowledge.
We certainly do. Until next time, remember that your background is an asset, your voice matters, and your story deserves to be heard clearly. Take care of yourselves, stay focused, and keep learning.
Goodbye, everyone.
Keep stepping into your potential. We will see you in the next deep dive.